Hello again, everyone. How are we all doing today? Remo back, and we are heading back out on the Fraser Island mod map I've been working on in Snowrunner. Pretty sure I'm going to head back over and do an expeditions map for my next map, so if anyone has any ideas of what you'd like to see in expeditions, if you're still playing it or want an excuse to go back, looking for ideas, I haven't really thought too much about it, but I think I'm going to give it a shot again and have some fun. So what we're doing today is we're going to head over. I have been spending most of my time this week working on a complete revamp of the road system, which is funny because I'm partially lost right now. I have gone over, I think, all the old roads and really flatten them out. They feel a lot more realistic now that I have a real good feel for building the roads. Before, the sand would kind of crown over the rest of the road, so you'd almost be driving on ridges. So now I've recessed them, a lot more realistic feeling roads. I haven't been around everywhere. You're probably gonna see some of those terrain spikes that kind of happen when I'm using the snow setting in particular. You've probably noticed them on snow maps. I know they're very hard to get rid of. So I'm kind of working my way through that. So you'll probably notice in this week's update, which will hopefully be tomorrow, that there's going to be a bit of that around. But in general, the roads should feel way more realistic. Easier to drive, more challenging. I've put a lot more up and down in the terrain and in hills, and you'll see, like, here's a muddy section, which I think I'm going to add a touch more mud to some of these areas. I want to make it a bit tougher. We're actually out in the Hammer, Iceberg's Hummer mod, which he's recently put a fair bit of time updating from what I saw on Facebook. I imagine it's on the mod. I don't remember everything that he did, but a very significant revamp, and this was an awesome vehicle before, so I figured we'd take it for a run today. What you're seeing here is available in the most recent update, but not with these revamped roads. You'll notice, like, this is perfect, having to struggle to get up this hill a little bit. Really trying to work in a lot more fun to the trails, I guess I would say. I know I saw some concern in some of the comments that it was going to be a real simple map, and truth be told, Fraser Island, it's beautiful, it's sandy. It is not known to be like a muddy, like, it's literally a sand island. It's not the craziest off-road place, but I think we can have a lot of fun with this, and I hope you like what you're seeing here with just a real, I don't know, I put a real focus on trying to make the roads in general a little more enjoyable, a lot more tipping, a lot more potholes. If you try to high gear it through here, you're probably going to take damage. Basically, I'm channeling a lot of what I did with the roads and outback overlanding. Although it's a lot harder with this soft sand, it's really touchy, as you can see on some of these little spiky, sharp-edged looking depressions and stuff. That's the kind of thing that I have to go through and do a little more smoothing. And it's real tough because you want to have those potholes and the washouts in the tougher driving, but you need to smooth it out, so it's a real fine line of giving a nice look and a nice feel and challenge. So I hope I'm hitting it here on this one. I feel like I've really got a lot closer to what I wanted it to look like, and what I think all you folks want to see. So again, let me know, keep me on the right track. It always helps, the ideas, and just in general the good comments keep me going. Personally, my confidence in the at least this YouTube thing goes up and down a lot, and really it's a big push when I hear from y'all that you're enjoying what you're seeing or throwing in your ideas. Engagement's what it's all about. So just keep throwing those suggestions, and I will try to get back to you more and more. Things have been very busy, and I'm trying not to overthink YouTube now, so I will get back into a better comment replying routine. But I do try to read all of them, and I'll start at least throwing the heart on the comments when I buzz by them. It's usually just here and there when I get a few minutes, but it is mind-boggling how long it takes to reply to comments, and I love doing it. It's just usually a matter of time, and it is what it is. You can see just where we're going past there. The grass texture is there, but there's no grass coming up off it. So what's happened is I've painted the sand, but I've overlapped it a little too much with a really, really soft brush. So it thinks it's sand in the editor, so it doesn't spawn any grass on top of it. Each texture has a certain thing that'll spawn on it. Like you can see the little rocks in the sand. That's what spawns on the sand, a bit of texture and additive like that. So I kind of have to go around all the edges with sand and just repaint that grass texture with a strong brush. Keep the edge looking the way it does, but make sure that grass spawns on it. So if you see areas like that, it's typically what's going on. Now, mind you, if the trees get too dense, and I believe this was probably an update many seasons ago with performance, but if you have too dense of trees, it won't spawn the grass underneath is usually the first thing to go. What I figure is there's a maximum amount of items that can spawn in each little square of the map. So when you exceed that, you can see how the grass is real thin here. It sacrifices something, right? Because we want to keep the game running good on multiple platforms. So again, another real fine line when you're building to give a thicker forest feel like this, but still have that grass spawned. Or sometimes you sacrifice the grass, which it just does automatically. There's really nothing we can do about it. But you may want a thicker forest, and I have areas like that where you just, it is what it is. I'll say that again. You may notice this is the second time I've come down this trail. There's some lovely tire tracks there. The first time I recorded this video, I was most of the way through it and my controller batteries died. Didn't even look when I was starting the video to see what they were at. And always makes me laugh that the game defaults to whatever you were pushing. Like a lot of games that'll just disconnect the controls. This one, you're usually holding your throttle on full, so you just aimlessly drive into whatever until you can either grab the keyboard if you're on a PC or change your batteries if you're on a console or something. But it's always funny, I thought, that they didn't just shut down the controls and actually let the truck drive. Not a big deal when I'm doing this, but when you get a big load on a truck and you're going somewhere questionable, never a good thing. So this area you have seen in other videos. Just up around the corner here, we're getting into some new terrain, which is going to have a cliff that's not as high or dangerous as Tassie trailing, or I shouldn't say a cliff, but a ridge. I'm not sure I'm going to keep it. Let me know when you see it later on. Same kind of feel, not nearly as treacherous, and you can kind of have fun on the big tall sand dunes. So, don't know, threw it in there to try. Overall, I'm quite happy with the look of this trail through here. It has enough up and down and side to side that it's interesting to drive. For the most part, it's pretty smooth. The mud in that first hole looked pretty good. This one is a little light. This vehicle is pretty good in the mud, but I want it to be a little tougher than this. You can just see by how far the tires dig in. So go back through, and that's again something that I kind of do in stages, and that'll be one of the first things I do when I go back into the editor after making the video, just so I don't forget. And generally I check areas like that a few times. There's going to be a lot of that with all the beach area, because kind of the edge of the water I work in some mud usually. Oh, almost went over. So here's a new spot, 3 ways through this little swampy area, so pick your poison. Right away, I don't have barely any mud in here. I must have not come back. What I usually do is I feather the whole area with a larger brush, and then I come in with a smaller size brush, and I really paint in a lot of different mud depths, so it gives you a more realistic feel, and I obviously didn't go back and finish that. That's going to be a lot tougher when you get a chance to go through it. Hopefully tomorrow, like I said, with the update. You'll see when we get up here, I have added in the boat along the beach. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of it, and I really should, but done my best to recreate that a little bit. You'll be able to see in the distance here, and what we're doing is just kind of climbing up on the ridge. So in general, I hope you like what you're seeing with the tougher roads, and everywhere that I've gone over is way more shaped like that. So would love to hear feedback when we get out on the newest update. I know most of you haven't seen, or maybe half have seen the update from last week. It is, all the switch files get updated every time too. They just seem to be pretty slow through the approval. I thought we could see the boat in the background there, but we're gonna have to go to a slightly higher peak here. Yeah, so I'm uploading every file on every update, so it's really up to the console approval, and we know that kind of ebbs and flows. You can see the ship in the background there, so you'll have that in the next update. I may play around with it a little bit more. Didn't have anything in game that really worked, so I kind of made it work. And what you can see over on that area we just panned across with no trees, that's literally all that I have left, is this kind of half of this island. So I'm hoping the next update next week, not tomorrow's update, we should have a fully covered map. Really going to be looking at missions and stuff at that point, so let me know what you think. Always love to hear it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.